Hello, I'm Lord Jimsicle, and you're watching a Halloween special of You Have Issues, a programme all about comics. Zombies. They're bloody everywhere. You can't pick up a piece of fiction nowadays without them either featuring in it or at least being referenced. Zombies have been in superhero comics before, of course. In 2004, Marvel Comics unleashed the excellent Marvel Zombies, which was a non-canonical miniseries that featured many Marvel heroes as zombies, causing much mayhem. This series was very well received and even crossed over with Ash from the Evil Dead series. If you get a chance, check it out. DC Comics independently devised their own zombie fest. When Geoff Johns began his run on Green Lantern back in 2004 with Rebirth, he laid the foundations for the chilling prophecy that's been haunting the Guardians of the Universe and the Green Lantern Corps for centuries. That's right, ladies and gnomes, we are talking about the Blackest Night. Blackest Night is a 2009 crossover event published by DC Comics that originated as a prophecy in the Green Lantern titles but affected the entire DC universe. Written by longtime Green Lantern scribe Geoff Johns and with art by Ivan Reis, among others, this was a wildly popular crossover that is still being talked about to this day. In this story, Nekron, the personification of death in the DC universe, constructs a black power battery and recruits Green Lantern villain Black Hand to resurrect dead superheroes and villains in order to remove all emotion from the universe. Naturally, this quickly spreads throughout the DC universe and it affects characters that have died recently, such as the Elongated Man and Blue Beetle Ted Kord, as well as ones who have died before and came back, such as Superboy and former Wonder Girl Donna Troy. Death in superhero comics had become something of a tired formula. Every major event or storyline would end with a major character being killed off, only for them to be brought back to life further along down the line. They devised this story as a way of stopping the revolving door of mortality. I mean, for goodness sake, we want death in comics to mean something. An in-universe explanation of this is that Nekron had allowed previously deceased superheroes such as Superman and Green Arrow to return to life, but have them act as sleeper agents for this event. How this pans out in the story, you're just going to have to find out for yourself. Certain characters were brought back to life as Black Lanterns because of the emotional attachments they held to characters that are still alive. Black Lanterns are programmed with the memories of the people they resurrect and use these memories in a twisted way to taunt their loved ones until they can elicit an emotional response from them in order to kill them and devour their hearts. When this event was published, everyone was excited about who would be resurrected next. Most discussions centred on seeing their favourite heroes and villains rising from the grave in a weird warped version of their original costume and ripping people's hearts out. As this is primarily a Green Lantern story, the other Lantern Corps join the fray as well. The entire emotional spectrum comes into play here. Aside from the Green Lanterns, Star Sapphires and Sinestro Corps, the following Lantern Corps were introduced in the prelude to Blackest Night, which ran in the Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps titles. There is Agent Orange, who wields the orange light of avarice, or greed, naturally it's just one person, the Blue Lanterns, who wield the blue light of hope, the Indigo Tribe, who wield the power of compassion, and finally the Red Lanterns, who wield the red light of rage. You could say that this gave the other Lantern Corps a chance to shine. As you can imagine, with all this chaos going on, it made for some brilliant action scenes, but also, considering the subject matter, some horrifically gory deaths. When a metahuman is brought back to life as a Black Lantern, they retain the powers they had when they were alive, in addition to being granted a power ring. If you're cornered by one of them, then you are doomed. Even though the various Lantern Corps were normally at odds with each other, a crowning moment of awesome was watching them all join forces to take down Nekron. The threat of the Black Lantern Corps was thwarted thanks to the efforts of Earth's heroes, and the people of the DC Universe felt safe again. Or were they? The story was immediately followed up by a year-long epilogue called The Brightest Day, which depicted the aftermath of the Black Lantern rampage, and it also followed around the 12 who were given new life at the end of the story. Oi! This story was good, but felt pretty slow considering the non-stop frantic pace that the preceding story had. This is one of the very few events that I would say is easy for a newbie to get into. Whenever characters interact with previously dead characters, a brief flashback is always shown to keep the reader up to speed with what happened previously, and it doesn't get in the way of the story. You can collect the entire story arc in 7 trade paperbacks. The very first one is just titled Blackest Night, and it collects 0 to 8. The rest are, well, I wouldn't say essential, but they're still great fun to read, and they do have some impact on the main story. The main limited series followed The Flash, in this case Barry Allen, and Green Lantern Hal Jordan as they tried to get to the root of the problem. It also had plenty of tie-in series which consisted of 3-issue runs depicting how the titular heroes were dealing with the crisis. They even brought back cancelled titles for one issue only, keeping in with the Resurrection theme. They brought back cancelled titles such as The Power of Shazam, The Question, The Atom and Hawkman, Adventure Comics, Catwoman, Starman, Weird Western Tales, Phantom Stranger, and Green Arrow, adding an extra issue to each title. So there you have it, The Blackest Night by DC Comics. Thank you for watching this Halloween special of You Have Issues. I'm Lord Jimsicle, and now it's time for the fill in the blanks entries from the last episode. And now, here's this episode's one. Thank you very much.